Just when I thought this day couldn't be any crazier, the De'Aaron Fox trade is broken. I'm doing this one by myself. Sheldon was the one who broke the news to me, but De'Aaron Fox has been traded to from Sacramento to San Antonio. In return, Sacramento receives Zach Lavine from Chicago, City Sissoko, 2025 first round pick via Hornets, 2027 first round pick via Spurs, 2031 via the Timberwolves, and then 3 second round picks. And then, De'Aaron Fox goes there. They get Lavine, I think, is an interesting part of it. Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins go to the Bulls and a first round pick via it's Chicago's own first round pick for this year, and it was originally traded for DeMar DeRozan, so that's an interesting aspect. And then the Spurs get Jordan McLaughlin as well. So I think a big takeaways here: Spurs don't give up Stephon Castle. I think is a huge part of this, and even with the picks that they did give up, they didn't give up any of the Atlanta picks. I think Atlanta's pick right now is pretty valuable with the Jalen Johnson injury. And I think that could have been a really big thing for them. And I think it still probably will be. I think that's really interesting. The Hornets 25 pick was, I guess, is, maybe reason for that ration or consolation prize of keeping the Atlanta pick isn't that big of a deal because they did give the Hornets pick that. I'm not sure what the protections are on that. It might be an unprotected pick. But I mean, that's a very valuable pick going to Sacramento. And then they're still getting Lavine. And honestly, I feel like the Lavine fit is a little bit better than the fit with De'Aaron Fox on this team. So I think that's a really fun aspect of this is, I mean, Sacramento, like, kind of for a trade that they didn't get Stephon Castle back, because literally yesterday we mocked a San Antonio De'Aaron Fox trade, and Stephon Castle was the main piece of it. For them not getting Steph Castle in return here, like, they came out really well from this. Like, they're likely to have a lottery pick here with this Spurs pick. Who knows what the Timberwolves look like in 2031? And then I meant the Hornets pick when I said Spurs pick. And then they have a 27 Spurs pick, which I think is really a very interesting piece to get in this. And, like, the Bulls, Trey Jones is kind of interesting. They already have all those damn guards. I mean, getting a first round pick for Lavine, we talked about it yesterday, like, just the ability for them to just replenish this value on guys like Lavine and Vucevic and Lonzo Ball that, like, they had no value a year ago, and now they've replenished the value. Like, it's kind of crazy for Sacramento or for Chicago. Jesus, mixing up words as I'm saying these things. I think it'll be a better fit, and I'm interested in what their starting lineup's going to be. Like, are they gonna just who's their backup point guard now? Like, yeah. So as I'm seeing it right now, like, I'm not sure what the move is here for Sacramento. Like, I think it's going to look like a Lavine, and then or maybe it'll be Lavine, DeRozan, and Malik Monk, and then they'll have Keegan Murray still in the starting lineup. It really depends on what they want to do with Malik Monk, but it's very likely that one of Lavine or DeRozan's going to take on a lot of ball handling duties. I think I had a hot take a while ago that if DeMar DeRozan was drafted today, he would be a point guard because he's so much more valuable with the ball in his hands, and he's a pretty solid passer. So I do think that is a potential avenue for them to go with DeRozan kind of being a point forward type of thing. And then, I still think it's really interesting for the Kings. Like, I don't think Lavine rather than Fox really changes the dynamic that much of this team. Like, you just lean into DeRozan more so than you did before because there was already a power dynamic issue here. So I don't know. I guess this just kind of solves that power dynamic that they had before. I think that's a really fun aspect of it. And those 3 first-round picks, I think, is very valuable. Like, I mean, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but they did about as good as they could have for a team that like isn't getting for a return that didn't involve um Stefan Castle. So I mean, I think that's really good. And then with the Spurs here, um, I was kind of getting sick of Fox to San Antonio rumors, but like obviously they were going to be in rumors for every single like lead guard that was going to ask out of a team anytime soon. I think a really fun thing for them could have been um, like trading the Hornets pick back to Charlotte for LaMelo Ball, but that's not what they ended up doing. I'm assuming Chris Paul's probably going to the bench since they gave up Trey Jones in this deal. I don't think they're going to start Paul and De'Aaron Fox next to each other, and like they still have Vassell, they still have Steph Castle out there. Kellen Johnson, I mean, that's another guy who like could easily be moved like right now. Harrison Barnes has a big deal as well. Like, I really like this move for San Antonio. I don't really know where it propels them to in the Western Conference. I think if you just look at it, they're I think the 12th seed currently. Yeah, they're currently the 12th seed. They're 3 games out of Sacramento as the 10 seed, and then I mean that's 8 that's 7 games out of the 5 seed San Antonio is. So like it's 100% possible for them to be like an interesting and not a contender, but like a dark horse team by the end of the year. Like I really like this deal, honestly, for all teams, because I mean, just a very interesting one. Yeah, this is crazy. I think I have some more thoughts on the Luka deal that I kind of just want to talk about while I'm here. I mean, was I kind of touched on it before, but like, were other teams not offered deals for Luka? Because I feel like this is an ownership group and management group that has handled things pretty well, building around Luka Doncic over the last couple years. Like the pickup of the Kyrie Irving move, I talked about it for Atlanta picking up Bradley Beal on the low. They picked up Kyrie Irving for like pennies compared to the type of player he's been over that course of time, because they knew the caliber of player that Kyrie Irving was. And just as you think about it, like they operated really well buying low on Kyrie. I think they did a really good job last deadline identifying what they needed for their team. And I think they did a really good job this past offseason adding guys like Marshall and Quentin Grimes and Klay Thompson. Like I think they legitimately have done a really good job building a team around these guys. And it feels like they've just thrown it all away just to have an upgrade at the center position. And I mean, every lineup that you're seeing posted across the internet is showing Anthony Davis at the 4, and I understand that because they have Lively and Gafford, but like Gafford has to be on the way out now, right? Like, there's no way that they're operating thinking that they're going to play all 3 of those bigs a ton of time, because there's then no Anthony Davis center minutes, and then it makes very little sense to me. I don't understand it. I mean, I'm sure they're going to honestly. If I had to pick between the 2 teams of who is going to finish with a better record at the end of this season, like Dallas is 2.5 games behind the Lakers. I honestly think Dallas might have a better record by year's end. Um, Right, like I do see the avenue of a Kyrie Irving team with Anthony Davis holding the paint down, and just all of these wings with Christie and Clay and Najee Marshall and PJ Washington and all of them. I think the combination of all of that will lead to a really great defensive team. And like already, like without Anthony Davis, this is a team that was 13th in defensive rating. Uh, and like they were a really great offensive team, but I still think they'll be pretty decent. Like I don't see how a team with the Kyrie and AD is going to be like horrible on the defensive side of the floor. And they have guys like Dinwiddie and Klay Thompson provide still really great spacing out there. Like they're just going to be good, I think. And with the Lakers, like they're going to have to restructure this roster even more. I think Austin Reeves is as good as gone, because I think they're going to play like a very similar style of play to the 2018 Rockets, where you kind of just run this mismatch hunting iso ball team with LeBron and Luka Doncic, and you just kind of space the floor around them and get 3-and-D guys, which they've kind of already got with Rui and Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. You already have those guys there. I think Reeves is like, I don't know. I feel like he's a piece of this puzzle that is very likely to just get moved off for a center like right now. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. So much going on right now. If there's another move made within the next couple days, that's huge. If Jimmy Butler gets traded for Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal goes to Minnesota somehow, like I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be such an a burp. It's going to be such an interesting deadline. Like, so much has already happened. This is already more than me or Sheldon expected to happen. So, getting out a second video or honestly a third video in like 27 hours. This is crazy. Yeah, go watch our podcast episode predicting. Actually, probably don't, because I get mad at the NBA for not promoting their product. Go watch our podcast episode. Listen to what we had to say a day ago about what we thought was going to happen at this deadline. It's completely different. This has been exciting. Jimmy Butler's next, I hope. Hopefully, this is crazy. I'll see you guys on Tuesday with an MLB episode, full length. That should be really interesting. We're starting the American League Central, and we're talking about their off seasons in totality.